Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Apocalyptic. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Apocalyptic Optimath channel. You are listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath, and I might not be your favorite YouTuber, but I'm damn sure the realist. So, if it's your first time joining my channel, welcome. Um, Over here, we specialize. I am a god. If you don't know who I am a god, and I specialize in creating more gods. Now, I had a interesting comment on one of my videos. Um, had an interesting comment on one of my videos, and somebody, I think the person took down the comment though, so I guess it's safe for me to talk about it. It might still be there. It might be there, but I'm not sure. Anyway, because sometimes I get comments, but I don't see the comment on the video. FYI, by the way, if you had commented on one of my videos and I didn't see it, it happens. Sometimes the comment does not go through, and I'm not even aware that, it's like I had two comments on my recent videos. I shit you not. Like, one person was like, "I'm out of here," but I shit you not, I did not see it for a whole day. And the worst part is, I usually don't look at my cell phone. And the funny thing is, that day I was looking at my cell phone, and I didn't see shit. And then when I find out that there was some comments, it was a day later. It was the next day, and I already had answered. Basically, I don't know when you guys, I don't know the date, like specific, but tell yourself this: when you messaged me, I couldn't see it. When I made the video, I saw it, and it's only after I made the video that I saw your comment. So I don't know if that was 2 days, probably even 3 days. I didn't see your comments. So sometimes I don't see shit, and sometimes people do post up comments, and I guess they delete it, or either YouTube deletes it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, so um, yeah. So this person said, relative to one of my last videos, that, yeah, this person said, yeah, but I don't know how to correctly utilize these powers that I have. Um, and I'm like, um, well, that's interesting. First of all, on this channel, you will learn how to use your abilities. I do speak a lot about how to use your abilities on purpose. Um, and I do understand if people have doubts about what I say, because at the end of the day, I'm not, rich. I am famous, but I'm not rich. I am a celebrity, but I'm not rich. So I do understand where you're coming from if you don't believe these things. But my defense to that notion is that most of the things that I say, you can read about it, and if you can read about it, it can't be that crazy, right? I can't say that it's facts, but it can't be that crazy if you're saying it and other people are saying it, then it comes down to you making a personal choice into believing into well, I don't know if the right word is believing, but it's your choice to actually get into something or not, because there is research being done, there is theories being laid out, there is explanations being given. So when you got all those factors, when you listen to somebody tell you something, and there's variables and factors like that attached to what the person is saying, I'm not saying that the person is saying facts or it's even valid, but it's still granted. And like I said, at that point, it's not like one person said something that nobody has ever heard before, and you can't check the validity at all. And you don't want to get into something that you're not supposed to and shit like that. But like I said, it's your personal. At that point, like I said, I don't tend to say things that you can't figure out or you can't read about. Like most of the things I say on this channel are related to spirit, and most of the time it takes 5 seconds to figure out if I'm bullshit or not, because the things I talk about is things that spirit are currently trying to implement into people's lives, right? So, when you talk about things like that, it's not going to take a long time to figure out if the guy's bullshitting or not, because spirit is going to, either spirit already showed you what I'm saying, or spirit is going to show you what I'm saying, because spirit is already trying to give you these things. I'm just explaining what's going on. Like, I'm just reporting on what's going on. So, anyway, so back to what we were saying. Like I said, on this channel, we talk a lot about special techniques that you can use, that humans have, special techniques that you can use in order to use your power on purpose. And basically the first step into ownership of yourself, right? The first step into ownership of yourself is forgetting, like I said in my last video, not my last video, but the video before that. Like I said in I think it was Illuminati stealing ribs video. The first step, you have to forget reality, right? No, it wasn't the last one. It was not the last one. But the one before that. So you have to start at square one, and to start at square one is forgetting. Is actually, like, I know it's contradictory, but like I said, everything is there's levels, and on the first level, it's important to forget about reality, right? It's you need to, some people would call it drop mind, right? You need to drop mind. You need to stop the hamster from turning. You need to stop the hamster from turning. And what I mean by the hamster is not you need to stop thinking, but kind of a little bit. You need to stop thinking a little bit, because you need to realize that this is, like, reality is a hologram. You need to realize that reality is a hologram. Some people call it an illusion or a simulation. It doesn't matter. I don't like those terms, even though they might be accurate. I don't like those terms, because at the end of the day, we are not going to create another matrix. We're not going to create paradise. We have the power to do it, but we're not going to do that. There's too much ignorance in the world, and like, there's this, I mean, evil must exist, right? I mean, technically evil has to exist, right? So we have to be balanced, right? So, but technically we could create paradise if we wanted to. It'd be easy. It'd be the easiest thing in the world. Like, snap of a finger. We could do it right now. So you need to drop mind. You need to forget everything. And like I said, I don't like using those terms. I don't like using those specific terms because this is what this is what we should work with, right? Because creating, as easy as it would be to create reality, we already have a template. So we need to stop looking at reality as, oh, it's a simulation, aliens are trying to kill us and blah blah blah. We should see it more as, it's here, it's already built, the deed is already done, there's nothing we can do about it, they already did it, it happened, it's done, right? So now you have to tell yourself, okay, how can I make this work towards my advantage? And that's what people see. Spiritual people need to look at reality in that space, which they do, but it's mostly the higher ones that do. It's like the gurus see life that way. The gurus don't see the matrix as something that's bad. It's just there. So if it's there, you can use it. It's like a tool, right? The matrix is a tool to get what you want, right? So this is how you should see things. In order to control your power, you need to be aware of yourself. You need to have more presence. And the way to have more presence is to stop putting energy into the matrix and recollecting the energy that you put into the matrix and use it for your own advantage. And the only way to do that is by dropping mind, if you know what that means. I'm saying that word because I'm guessing a lot of people know what that means. But you got to drop mind. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to stop thinking about, you have to stop seeing reality as reality, right? Because you got to tell yourself that, not that reality doesn't exist. You have to tell yourself you're aware of the existence of life, but you're also aware that the current existence that you're living is not necessarily reality. It might be life, but it's not reality, right? It might be life, but it's not reality, right? It's life, but not reality. This is very important to remember. This is very important to remember. It's life, but not reality. You're the one that creates reality. Life exists on its own, but you're the one that creates your reality, right? So, you got to drop mind. You have to stop. And and it's not as easy as it looks, because there's a lot of things that you think about. There's a lot of things that you have a lot of knowledge. That was weird. I pronounced that pretty well. Yeah, you had a lot of holla. Anyway, you might have a lot of intellectual or academic knowledge, and I'm gonna say something that might trigger you, but you have to, and it's only temporary, because those academic teachings will come into work later. But the first step that you need to take, you need to tell yourself that all this knowledge that comes from society, you need to drop that shit. And it goes deeper than just what you learned in school and what history is telling you. It even goes inside. So, like, you have to forget about peer pressure. That's not real. Peer pressure is not real. You have to forget about the ego. The ego is not real. No pun intended, no offense meant. The ego is going to come back, but you have to start somewhere, right? Because the ego, for some people, the ego is important. Like, my ego is important because my ego is a superhero. So I can't destroy my ego, because my ego is actually better than me. My ego is a better person than me, so I can't just forget my ego. My ego saved my life. My ego saved a bunch of people's lives, saved my life, kept me safe, protected me, against all kinds of things. So I don't have an issue with my ego, right? So, but for some people, the ego, they made on ego stance, they made a lot of bad choices, or they made a lot of bad things or bad deals, whatever, right? So depending on the person, depending on your track, you're gonna have to forget the ego. And even I had to forget the ego a little bit in order to see better, right? So you're gonna have to forget about ego issues. You're gonna have to forget about personal issues. You're even gonna have to forget about your emotions, just like a Jedi, right? Because at the end of the day, most of the way you feel things was depicted by, inseminated by the society, right? The same society that created this system of control and this matrix that you're living in. So they're also telling you how to feel, right? And a lot of people might not be aware that they are feeling the way that the government wants them to feel. It's not something that you can easily perceive, right? So, you know, you don't have to believe me, but even I don't know, even Buddhist teachings or Taoist teachings are going to tell you this, right? And at the end of the day, Star Wars wasn't just Jedi's are not just Jedi's. I mean, like, there's a religious connotation behind Star Wars. Star Wars is precursor to the Matrix. Star Wars is a definite 100%. The old Star Wars, not the new ones. The old Star Wars is a definite precursor to the Matrix, right? So because midichlorians actually exists. That's a real thing. Midichlorians actually exist. Like the things that give Jedi powers, that's real. That's real. Like midichlorians atoms, those are real. Those are real. Those are real for real. Like, so anyways, so we've been told how to feel also. So there's a lot of things that you have to drop. You have to drop all that shit. Like it's like you're holding a bag. It's like society gives you a bag. It's like we get to the door and then society gives you a bag, and in that bag there's like lessons learned, lessons to be learned, homework, there's work, there's taxes and emotions and knowledge, and it's a bag. It's a bag full of things, and they give that to you, and then you go live your life, right? Well, that bag that society gave you, you have to put it down. You have to put it down, and not everybody is ready to do that. Not everybody is capable of doing that, and not everybody is able to do that. You have to drop the bag, right? You have to drop the bag. Yes, you heard me. You have to drop the bag. So, to replace it with another bag, you gotta replace it, because let's say you got a ugly bag. Let's say society gives you an ugly ass bag, because the bag that society gives you is ugly as fuck, right? And when you drop that bag and you make yourself a new bag, and that bag is like a Gucci bag, that bag is like a Louis Vuitton bag, it's a Gucci bag, right? So you want to drop society's bag because that bag is trash, right? And you want to go get this bag because this bag is Louis Vuitton. This bag is like Yves Saint Laurent. You know what I mean? Like this bag is like it's all that shit, right? It's Gucci, right? So that's the first step to being able to control your abilities. And you even have to forget about religion. I didn't say religion, but religion is an important thing you need to forget about. Religion is an important thing you need to forget about because it's in your way, right? As much as I hate to say it, you might disagree, and I understand why. I completely understand why, and I'm not judging you for not liking this statement. Like I said, these are not easy things to get into or to get involved in, even though humanity has to do it at some point, and spirit is working towards doing that. But it's not an easy thing to do because we're born with this belief. Everybody believes in it, and it's like, there's a lot of things attached to it, so it's not an easy thing to let go of. But you also need to let go of religion because it's in your way. Because what religion does is it removes your responsibility. It removes responsibility from you. Like, it removes responsibility from you. That's why I don't like religion, because religion always removes responsibility for people. Like, people don't feel responsible for themselves. They're always saying God is going to handle it. God's going to handle it. God's going to handle it. Right? So he's not going to handle it. He's not going to handle it. You're the one that's going to handle it because you can handle it. Right? But you also need to learn how to handle it. Right? So Like religion is going to put you how it's going to block your process. If you still in the belief of religious teachings, it's going to block your process because now you're still thinking that things are real, right? If nothing is real, everything's illusion. God is illusion too, because you learned it from another person, right? It's not you that discovered it. It's somebody else that told you to believe in this, right? So, like I said, whatever society told you is a bag, and they put God in there. There's God in there in that bag. There's everything in that bag, right? It's like a bag with everything you need, right? But the things that are in this bag are not necessarily for your own benefit. Those things are for the benefit of society, not your benefit, right? And society, and the reason why you shouldn't feel bad about rejecting society's needs is because, well, the needs of society that are given to you with the bag are the needs of society, of the government that lives within the society. So it's kind of like being Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood started stealing from the rich because the rich was stealing from the poor, right? So this is the society that we're in, and you have to realize that we are living in a corrupted society where the government is taking from the poor, and some rich people, not all, are also taking advantage of people, right? That's just facts. So when you know this, when you understand this, you need to know and understand that you don't need to feel bad about rejecting society, about telling yourself I don't care about what society wants, because it's not necessarily that it's not that you don't care about your neighbor or your friends or your family. Is the corruption that you need to get rid of, because the corruption is in you. Because the corruption is in you. It's in you because you're participating in this corruption, right? Whether you like it or not. At the end of the day, if you go to work every day, you're participating in the corruption. You're participating in the system, right? And that's why people actually don't like the system, and that's why some people don't get involved with the system. That's why some people live off grid. This is why people look for ways to reduce their taxes. People, find DIY solutions to running water and free electricity and free internet and less Wi-Fi fucking waves. Magnetic fields to reduce the magnetic field emission of this and that. So people are aware that the system is bad, and they do try to do things to make it better too, especially for themselves, because they're probably aware that they can't implement their ideas on the entirety of the Western civilization or the Eastern civilization. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But people are aware of that they can't just do that. Of course, I'm pretty sure these people would love to implement their ideas in society and make things a lot safer and a lot cleaner, but it's not always the case, and sometimes we are capable of doing that, but not all the time. But now we're not talking about spirituality. Now we're talking about like utopian mindset and stuff like, and commonwealth and stuff like that, right? So on a spiritual aspect, this is the reason why you got to tell yourself when it's not a bad thing if I reject society's ideas for a minute and get a hold of my own ideas, right? So you drop mine, you forget that everything exists. That's the first step, right? That's the first step. And then the second step is to be more aware of yourself. The second step is to be bold. The second step is to be bold. The second step is realizing who you are, right? The second step is realizing what a human is. A human is a light being. That's what human means. Hue means light, or color. A hue is light, and a man. So a light man, right? So you gotta realize a human is a light man. It's a demon. A human is a demon. A human is a demon. A human is a light man. A human is a demigod. A demon, a fucking Kryptonian, even, which is a noble gas that actually exists on Earth. Humans are Kryptonians, right? So we're Kryptonian, right? We're Super Saiyans, right? We're this, that, right? So now you have to tell yourself that you're these things, right? And you have to find yourself within these things, because you have specific capabilities that are specific to you. There's abilities that everybody can use, which you will discover eventually, that there's specific abilities that just everybody has it. But there's specific abilities that even if everybody has it, you're going to be better at it than other people, right? And that's normal. That's just the way it is. And you have to discover these things. You have to discover yourself, right? That's the second step. The second step is self-discovery. The first step is drop mine. The second step is self-discovery, right? The first step is very important for the second step, right? Because if all these things that you have learned and all these things that was taught to you are still in your mind while you're trying to discover yourself, well, it's going to overlap what you're trying to see, right? And you're gonna have a negative idea of yourself, and then you're just gonna go back to living in the matrix normally like everybody else does, right? And that's not what we want. What we want is have total control over our abilities and capabilities of creation, of life creation, right? Like, you are God. At the end of the day, you are God, right? So, but who is God? And what is God, right? And God is you, right? But who are you, right? So you need to see yourself before looking at everything else. And that's the third step. The third step is looking at everything. Now that you have, it's like, this is what I'm doing right now is in the Bible, when Jesus gave eyesight to the blind. Jesus can give sight to the blind, right? So now that's what I'm doing right now, right? I'm giving you sight, right? Because the third step is going to be sight. This is going to be the last step. The last step is not necessarily the third step, but it's going to be, yeah, it is. Is the third step. Because the first step is majorly important, is the most important thing to do, which is dropping mind. The second step is self-discovery, which is also extremely important to do. And the third step, after you drop mind and you discover yourself, then you can start looking at things, right? So then you can go back into the matrix, just like Neo, because Neo had to step away from the matrix, and then he had to be told that everything that he saw wasn't real. This is facts. This is a Buddhist. Like that part in the movie, they copy pasted it out of Buddhist books. The facts. That's just how it works, right? And like, there's no escaping that. Like, so there's no books that you're gonna read that's gonna tell you the opposite. Zero. None. Right? So you don't have to read books. You can listen to audio books too. Anyways, because I always be saying reading, but reading is good though, because it's good. Reading is good. But you can listen to audio books too. You don't have to read and shit. But because your brain eats words. Your brain eats words like it's food for, like, that's why we used to call it, there's an old saying back in the 90s, they used to say when people used to read more, there was like, food for thought, like your mind eats words, like eats letters. It's weird, but it's nourishing. It's a good exercise for your mind to read, It makes you. It doesn't matter what book you're reading. It doesn't matter. It could be anything, but it's good for your brain. To read. It's a healthy thing. Um, you don't have to read all the time, but I'm just letting you know, like, reading words is healthy because your brain kind of, I don't know, there's something about like letters and words, it kind of nourishes the mind, because when you spend too long without reading, you kind of become dumb, right? Like when you're just looking at videos and shit like that, it kind of makes you stupid. It does. It kind of makes you stupid, and when you forget words, it makes you stupid. So reading a book from time to time actually nourishes your brain because now you're making your brain work. You're giving your brain exercise. Your brain needs to exercise like everything else. Like when you're watching something, your brain is not exercising, and the only part of your brain that's exercising is your subconscious and a little bit of your conscious thought. And that depends on the person because some people just zone out when they watch something, so they don't have an opinion about anything. They just zone out. They look at the thing and they zone out, and they stop thinking. So when you're watching TV, you're not thinking, right? But when you are reading, your brain does a lot of functions. It's trying to understand the words that are written, and it's trying to paint a picture of what you're reading so that you can understand what you're reading, right? So it's activating your imagination. So it's good for creativity. Reading books is good for creativity because it activates your imagination. And it also greatly impress your logical sense, your analytical and logical area of your brain, right? So reading is magical. Reading is magical. It's magical. So it's good to eat books. Um, it's food for thought. Like it's food, just food for your mind. Reading is food for your mind. But you don't have to read all the time. You don't have to be a super genius, but it does exercise your mind. When you don't read, you're not exercising your mind, and your mind is gonna turn into mush at some point eventually. So you know, it's gonna turn into Play-Doh. Um, I'm telling you one book I'm not gonna read though. Fucking uh, that goddamn alchemist, uh, Paracelsus. That's fucking crazy. There's no fucking way I'm reading that. This fucking guy wrote an alchemy book that's as big as the Bible. There's 3,000 fucking pages in that some bitch, bro. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading it, bro. Like I'm not doing that, bro. That's crazy, man. I'm not doing it. So, anyways, so yeah, man. Back to what we were saying. So now that you have discovered yourself, you can now see things. And like I said, like in the Matrix, even Neo in the Matrix, it tells you like Neo has to be told that everything was fake and nothing was real, and you haven't actually really lived life, and all that shit. And then he went back into the Matrix. They didn't run away from the Matrix. They didn't create another Matrix. They didn't go on another planet. They didn't, nah, they went back into the Matrix, right? So, and that's what you're gonna have to do. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get out of the Matrix and you're gonna go back in. But you're gonna go back in as your own personal customized character, right? With different abilities and different power set and a different look, right? You're gonna start wearing sunglasses, right? You're gonna start wearing sunglasses and shit like that, right? And you're gonna start wearing leather chaps, leather buttless chaps, and no, I'm kidding. Um, but that's basically what's going to happen. Technically, that's basically what's going to happen, right? So the vision that people have that the Matrix is that we're living in is a horrible thing is inaccurate. It's not a horrible thing. It just exists. But people are using it for a horrible thing. The Illuminati is using it for horrible things to play with people's minds and to get people to create their own evil, right? Like the world that we're living in is actually our fault and not the Illuminati. But it's still is greatly the Illuminati's fault because they're the ones playing with our heads and they're the ones shape shifting reality. And they use us to do it because that's the best way to do it and that's the only way to do it. So but at the end of the day, we're the ones creating the reality, right? We're the ones creating the reality. So it's kind of our fault too, kind of. But the thing is, most people are not aware of everything that I'm saying right now. So that's why they're not necessarily, it's not necessarily people's fault, because they're not aware of all these things, right? They don't know that everything is magic. They don't know that everything is magic. They have no idea. Regular people have no idea that everything is magic. Even going to work is magic. Buildings, offices, businessmen, video games, fucking rock climbing, fucking drinking water, taking a piss, taking a shit. Everything is magic. Everything is magic. So, but the difference is some people know how to manipulate the magic. Some people know how to manipulate the ether, right, in order to get what they want, right? So, even there was this interview with Alan Moore, the creator of Constantine, where he's like, he likes to create stories. Somebody asked him, like, somebody said in the interview, I noticed that in your comic books there's a lot of words. There's more words in some of your comic books than actual drawings. And his answer was, well, I'm a magician. And as a magician, which he is, he really is. He considers himself a wizard. And he said, as a comic book author, if you don't know who Alan Moore is the creator of Watchmen and Constantine, which is the correct term for Constantine is Hellblazer. So he's the creator of Hellblazer, Constantine, and the Watchmen and the other great comic books that he created. So anyway, his answer was, well, the reason why that is because I rather paint a picture in somebody's mind. If I draw a picture, you already see it, it's done, it's there, right? You know what I'm trying to do, it's right in front of you. And he feels like that's not his quote, but I'm guessing that's what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is that that would be kind of lazy, right? That would be kind of a lazy thing to do, to just give it to you on a silver platter. And what he said was he rather write, when he writes things, now he's in your head, right? And now he's creating things. He's creating realities. He's creating things that you can't see. And to him, that's magic, because it's intangible. It's personal to you, because I can explain to you something and not put a specific detail in and just let your mind create this character. Like, let's say I create a character, I tell you a little bit of how he is, right? Like 50 Shades of Grey, like people imagine stuff when they read books like that, like 50 Shades of Grey or Harry Potter and shit like that. People make up their own universes and they feel like they're part of that universe, and they feel like, some people almost feel like they live in that universe when they read like those kind of books. So that's magic to him, and he's right, it is. And and that's how the Illuminati catches us too, by creating pictures in our head, by creating reality in our head, by showing us a reality that they wish for us, and we're the ones that need to accept it or not. So they do a lot of magic on society, and all of it works 100%, 1,000%, or else we wouldn't be in the society that we're in right now, and there wouldn't be threats of Armageddon or nuclear disasters and communist movements and ISIS and fucking African warlords and shit like that. All that shit was created by people, not the devil or God. Well, a little bit God, but they were created by people. At the end of the day, it's just a choice. God can say whatever the fuck he wants, but you don't have to fucking listen to him, right? That's free will, right? And people don't exercise their free will. They mostly exercise obedience, right? And that needs to stop, because you're not here to obey to nobody. You're here to live. You're here to become God. You're not here to obey the people. You're here to become God. Whichever your method of becoming God is, that is not important. The important thing is that you're here to become God. You're not here to obey the people. You're not here to obey to me. You're not here to obey the Illuminati. You're not here to obey to nobody. If I'm me personally, I mean, I could have a group. I could have a group of people. I'm always gonna be teaching you, and I hope that you stay in my group for a minute. But if you stay in my group forever, that means I did something wrong. That means I've been lying to you, because at some point you're not gonna need me. So if you still need me after a couple of years, that means I fucked up somewhere. That means I'm lying. I fucked up somewhere, because you're not supposed to be around anymore. You're supposed to have like a tremendous amount of power and be like, yep, you know what? I'm good. I think I can take life head on. And I'm gonna go and eat some people and become a cannibal and just eat everybody in my path. If you say that after I give you teachings and you say that to yourself, then I did a good job. But if I give you teaching and you don't feel like Hannibal Lecter, then I completely missed the mark. So back to what we were saying. Whatever method that you choose to find God, that's your bit. Whatever method that you use to become God, not to find God, but to become God, that's your business. That's neither here or there. That's not important. That's your business. That's no one gives a shit. That's not that's not an issue. The important thing is that you're trying to be God. That's the important thing. So yeah, man, I hope that answers your question. I hope that answers your question, if that was a question. And even if it wasn't, well, at least if there's other people like that was asking themselves the question. If there's other people that was asking themselves the question also, I hope this clarifies what you first need to do. Like I said, first part is to drop mind. The first part is to drop mind. Second part, self-discovery. Third part, rebirth. Third part is rebirth. Seeing things with a new set of eyes. You gotta die like Jesus. You gotta crucify yourself. You gotta put yourself. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're doing the Jesus thing. That's what the real meaning of crucifixion means. That's the real meaning of the crucifixion. I forgot that. I forgot to say that. That's true. I say so much things, So, anyways, that's the real meaning of crucifixion. That's the real meaning behind being born again, right? So you gotta crucify your old self. You gotta kill your old self, and you gotta be like a snake, coming out of his coil, right? Like snakes get out of old skins, right? And they regenerate themselves by getting out of their old skin, right? So you got to regenerate yourself, right? You got to get rid of that old skin. You got to crucify yourself, right? You got to and crucifixion is a not just sacred, but the word I was looking for is not sacred. The word I'm looking for is sacrifice. Yeah. You're sacrificing your flesh, right? As a sacrifice of the flesh, right? So you're killing you're killing this thing, this human, this entity that used to live within you. You're committing homicide on yourself, on your old self. And then after a certain period in the Bible, it says 7 days, but after a certain period, 7 days doesn't mean shit in the Bible. 7 days just means a certain period of time. It doesn't mean nothing. Okay, it doesn't mean shit. So after a certain period of time, you will come back to life. You will reincarnate as yourself again, but you will see everything clearer, right? You're gonna see everything, not necessarily clearer, because you could see things clear right now. It's just, but because sometimes we can be cynical, right? Humans can be cynical, and what that means is you see reality for what it is. You see the bullshit, but you don't really do anything about it. Not necessarily. And that's, most humans are cynical people. We see life, we understand it, we know it's bullshit, but we're like content with just knowing that life is bullshit, and we make no effort, no valid or important decisions into making some type of change. And when you're a person like that, it's because you're cynical, and most humans are cynicals. Most humans are cynics. So you can know all these things, but now well, if you're here listening to this video, it's not because you want to stay cynical, it's because you want more power, or you want to understand things. So like I said, you might be aware of everything that's going on, but that doesn't mean that you've achieved the levels that you need to achieve. You can't just be content with just knowing that everything is bullshit. If you know that something is simulated, then it's your job to either not care and go live your life, or if that's interesting to you, it's your job to do research, to be interested in it, to actually understand how it works and why does it work like that and stuff like that. It's not, it's not a disembodied spirit's job to just tell you everything out of nowhere just because they feel like it. You have to be interested into something in order to learn something. So so like I said, if you're here, it's because you want to learn more. You want to know more. You're looking for answers, right? And sometimes you have to realize that you're probably not gonna like the answers that you hear when you get into the world of spirituality. Spirituality is not one size fit all, right? And it doesn't care. The universe doesn't care about your emotions. The universe doesn't care about how you feel. The universe works a specific way, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, the universe doesn't care about my fucking emotions. I've been a broke ass nigga since I was born. You know what I mean? I've been a broke ass nigga since I was born. I've been a lover boy since I was born. I was never into the cooties thing. I always loved women, even when I was a kid. So and I have a very horrible relationships, and I'm broke 50% of the time. you know, and I don't make a lot of friends, and I don't, so the universe doesn't give a shit about how I feel. It's about, and it's harsh. It's a harsh thing to live with, to realize that no one cares about how you feel, and you're the one that has to like create your reality, because at the end of the day, no one gives a shit about you. You know what I mean? So it's fucked up. It is what it is. Um, but it's not that reality. It's not that the universe is a bad person. It doesn't have anything to do with right or bad. It's just there's certain rules, and there's certain ways that things function, and the universe can't really feel bad about not giving a fuck about your feelings, because at the end of the day, like, it's the universe. If like you're asking me, like, put yourself in the universe shoes, right? It's like you're asking me how to do something. I tell you how to do it, but you don't like it. Like, like, it's kind of weird, don't you think? I mean, it's a bit weird, it's a bit toxic. It's even, that's toxic, like, I think that's toxic, bro. Like, that's pretty toxic, actually. Like, if you ask me a question and I give you the answer and you don't like it, and you're pissed off at me because you don't like my answer, like, that's kind of weird. You're kind of toxic, bro. Like, you're the one that asked. Like, if you don't want to hear the answer, if you're not ready for the answer, don't ask, right? Like, um, so you got to be ready to do these types of things. You got to be ready, because you might not be ready mentally for these sorts of things. You might not be mentally ready for these sorts of things. You got to be ready for these sorts of things, man. Yeah, so um, and I'm not afraid to say that the universe doesn't give a fuck about my feelings, because me, what I've noticed is I'm a strong person. I'm a strong character. I have a strong character, but it's at my detriment. So no one cares about who hurts me. Like, no one gives a shit about who hurts me. It's always about, when I work, what I've noticed with working with the universe, that the universe sees me as being Superman, and it doesn't take into consideration that Superman has feelings, right? Superman can get hurt. He might not get hurt physically, but you can hurt him emotionally, right? And you can hurt anybody emotionally. Everybody on the fucking planet, you can hurt them emotionally, bro. Even if they're fucking, they can break your face, but you can hurt them emotionally. So, uh, my experience with the universe is like, that's my experience with the universe. It doesn't, like, I always need to care about what other people feel, but no one cares about how I feel. And that sucks, and I don't like it. I don't like it either. I don't think I'm toxic, but I don't like it, and it's frustrating. And I don't listen. I'm not perfect. Even with all the things that I've said, these are all academic knowledge. Everything I just said is scholarly knowledge, right? It's not necessarily spiritual knowledge. It's scholarly knowledge, because I don't necessarily, like I said, I feel a little bit like you do, right? I don't agree with how the universe treats me. I don't agree with how people treat me, bro. And I'm not gonna take it either. Like, I'm not gonna accept it. I am a man. I'm a person that lives on earth like everybody else. I bleed. I shit. I piss. So, I get lonely. I have aspirations. I have hopes and dreams. I have ambition. So I'm no different than anybody else. So if you treat me different than everybody else, I'm not gonna respond to you in a proper fashion. And that becomes a battle, and now you become a Hebrew. Now you become a Hebrew because now you're wrestling with angels and gods, right? And you're standing your ground, and they're gonna stand their grounds because they believe in what they believe in, and you believe in what you believe in. So now it becomes a battle, right? And it's gonna stay like that for a long time, until the day that I become rich, that I find a wife, and I become rich. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be a consistent battle, and I'm probably gonna be on the losing end. But I'm not going to subside to the idea that everybody else's emotions is more important than mine. That's disgusting and that's bullshit. And I don't take it as a compliment when the universe sees me as being Superman, because I'm not Superman. I'm me. Right? And if you don't care about me, I don't see why you would care about anybody else. So with that said, I feel like I need to say before I leave, this is one of the reasons why being able to control your reality is important. And because what I just said has a little notion of God in it, and this is the reason why it's important to believe in yourself and to believe in your own reality, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up the winner of that battle at the end of the day. But everybody has their limits, right? And everybody has their limits, and at the end of the day, you're gonna be the winner of that battle. If you're strong enough, if you're bold enough and you're strong enough, you're going to be a winner of that battle, because you're right, because it's the truth, man. Like, you're human, you have emotions, you have rights just like everybody else. And when a thing or a person comes along and take away your rights, that person is in the wrong. Absolutely, 100%. At the end of the day, there's no if and buts about it. So you're going to be a winner of that battle, and you have to indulge in that battle more than you think. You have to indulge in that battle more than you think, because sometimes the universe will test you. Like, the universe, like I said, the universe is not a bad or a good person. The universe tests me. Like, if I say, I'm a fan of spiritual archetypes. So let's say, instead of being Frieza from Dragon Ball, I want to be Beerus, right, from Dragon Ball Super, the God Destroyer Beerus. If I keep saying I'm God Destroyer Beerus, I'm God Destroyer Beerus, I'm God Destroyer Beerus, the universe is going to test that, right? Because even as you go into apotheosis, the universe is going to teach you how to destroy, because gods destroy things. Right? So it's not just saying you're a god, you're a god, you're a god, and nothing happens. The universe is going to be like, oh, word, you're a god? Okay, then destroy this thing. Right? Because gods don't just have, candy coated parties with fucking, candy dropping from the sky and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, they have to get busy too. They have important things and important responsibility they have to get into also. So so the universe is gonna accept your offering of you saying that you want to be a god, but it's also going to give you the abilities and the responsibilities of a god, and sometimes you have to destroy. So at some point you're gonna see that. So let's say I say, oh, I'm Beerus, right? And then you're like, okay, you're Beerus. Well, there you go. Now you have to destroy things. Can you destroy this now? The universe will test you, and it's asking you to destroy something. So the universe is not a good or a bad person. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It just is. It is, and there's rules, and it puts you in the correct path towards the things that you want. That's for sure. And that some people could consider that good, but at the end of the day, you have to realize it doesn't even matter what you want. So it's not about being a good or a bad person, bro. It's like you asked for something and the universe is trying to give it to you. That's what the universe's job is. The universe's job is to collect information and then bring back answers to you, right? So whatever you ask him to do, he's gonna go find the information and he's gonna come back and give it to you. And so you can't sit there and be angry at the universe for giving you an answer to something that you ask. Like you gotta be ready for the answer. So so yeah, man. Like I said, man, crucifixion. Before I go, I said I was gonna go 5 minutes ago, but before I go, I want to say something else about crucifixion. The crucifixion, aspect, that's a sacrifice, and an initiation too. You have to remember that when you're at that point, when you are sacrificing yourself, it's initiation to this new reality, to this life creating thing that you have, right? So, anyways, I'm gonna stop the video right there because I'm getting off track. I'm gonna stop the video right there. I'm getting off track. So, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was educational. I hope that I expressed myself correctly. I hope I didn't trigger anybody. And by the way, some people might feel pissed off about me saying that people should practice if the people should practice what's it called, laws of attraction and shit. Some people might be pissed off when I say that shit, but that's what I believe in. That's my belief. I 1000% believe in laws of attraction. It absolutely works. For sure it works, and if it doesn't work for you, it's because you're doing it wrong. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way or a jerk or a jackass way. That's facts. If it doesn't work, it's because you're doing it wrong. Because it works. It's magic. If magic works, then laws of attraction works. Like there's no, because laws of attraction is bare bones magic. Laws of attraction is magic without incantations and so on and so on. And laws of attraction can give you protection too. Like I've used laws of attraction and it fucking protected me. I told this story once on YouTube, more than once. You guys are probably tired of hearing this, but this is another story that I always talk about. I was practicing laws of attraction. I was manifesting a partner, so it didn't even have anything to do with protection. I wasn't even trying to get any protection. I was manifesting a partner, and I went to the store. And there was this guy, this fidgety person, right? And I didn't really feel him. It was kind of weird, bro. And so I turn around and I go drink some water. And as I'm bending over, pause. But as I'm bending over to drink some water, pause. Hey, yo. But as as I'm bending over to drink some water, there's these two tall, beautiful women that just, for some reason, posted themselves on my right and on my left. It was weird. In broad daylight, in the middle of a supermarket. It was weird, bruh. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, they was kind of like, and they were standing there with their arms crossed as if they were like bodyguards or some shit, like they were protecting me or something. I don't even know what they were protecting me of. Probably the twitchy, fidgety guy. It was kind of weird, but that's what I think that happened. I don't know, but I was practicing laws of attraction. I wasn't practicing magic. I was trying to manifest a girlfriend and shit, and that shit happened. So laws of attraction can protect you too. Like it's magic. It's basically magic. It's just laws of attraction just removes spells. It removes spell work and gods and entities. It's like complete 100% self-belief, right? So I love the laws of attraction. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. And I'm an adept at laws of attraction. And to hit the nail on the head, I was supposed. I'm gonna sound like I'm gonna do my Kanye West thing, if you don't mind. I'm gonna just do a little bit of Kanye West here because you need to pop your collar from time to time. You need to be saying bullshit. This is YouTube. People love listening to bullshit. So let me bullshit for a second, right? So my bullshit is, whether you believe it or not, if it wasn't for the Illuminati, I would be the law of attraction guru. I shit you not. I would be the law of attraction guru if it wasn't for the Illuminati. Because I shit you not. I swear to God, bro. If I'm lying, I'm fucking dying, bro. If I'm lying, may lightning strike from the fucking sky and destroy me where I stand, bro. I swear to God, bro. So, before The Secret came out, my mind was already being awakened. So I was talking to family members, like my sister, right, could actually tell you that I was talking about these things before the book came out, right? Both of my sisters can tell you that, because I would be like having conversation with them, and I'd be like giving them like some real wise shit, like some Solomon shit, right? Before the book came out, right? And I was doing that with a lot of people. I was showing a lot of people things, bro. Like I was showing them, like, cause I was on the path. I was on the path, and I was chilling with this guy that was on the path too, right? And he did some weird hocus pocus, and I was doing hocus pocus with him, and we stayed for a whole month, for 2 months. We was doing hocus pocus in his house, right? I was over at his house. I was staying at his. I was sleeping at his house. So for 2 months, and he didn't want me to leave. Like he wanted to do hocus pocus, and he needed somebody to do some hocus pocus with. So he needed me, right? And I like hocus pocus, so I didn't argue. So I stayed in his house for 2 months. Doing hocus pocus, and we did a lot of hocus pocus, um, and we achieved a level, and we achieved a level, and it worked. Whatever did work, and we knew it worked. And he got up, he gave me a hug, he gave me a hand. It was like, the whole thing, because we was doing the thing, and then we opened the TV, and then we started seeing like law of attraction shit and whatnot, bro. It was like, yes, it fucking worked, right? I was kind of pissed off because I kind of knew what was going on. Like I knew that the Illuminati just like stole shit from us, because that's what they do. They steal shit from people, and he was happy because he was trying. I guess that dude was trying to do some shit like that for a long time. He was just looking for somebody to do it, but he didn't. He just didn't find the person to do it with. So he was just happy that it worked. I wasn't. I was pissed off because I was like, these motherfuckers. They just stole something from us, man. Like, so um so yeah, man, if I would have, and if that wouldn't have happened, I would have been like a law of attraction guru. I would have been a law of attraction guru. I would have been a law of attraction master. I would have wrote a book. I would have wrote a book. I would have released a book that something like they stole that destiny from me. They stole that. They destiny swapped that shit. So, love of attraction is a very important thing to me. It's not just, I don't just believe it because everybody else believe it, bro. Like I believe that I'm one of the original law of attraction people. Like, so it's not just when I talk about laws of attraction, you might feel offended, but it has nothing to do with you. I sincerely believe in the laws of attraction. I understand the laws of attraction. I experience laws of attraction. So if you're angry at that, there's nothing I can do about it, man. That's your personal issue. Because me, I'm on a whole other level with the laws of attraction shit. And you cannot like the laws. It's not like I go after people that don't believe in laws of attraction. That's your business. I understand why you have issues with laws of attraction. I have issues with laws of attraction too, because the thing is, the Illuminati knows that the laws of attraction exist, and they kind of created this barrier where like it's almost like you have to be white to to do the laws of attraction. There's a little bit, I don't know, there's a little bit of racism in there, man. It's weird to say, but it feels like there's a little bit of racism there. It almost feels like you have to be white to do that shit. And I'm pretty sure it's the Illuminati that put a barrier there so that it could be more difficult for people to do it. So I got issues, with it, man. Or the fact that, like, I'm not rich. So if I practice laws of attraction, I'm gonna get stuff from poor people, right? I'm not into taking things from poor people, man. And at the end of the day, it's my fault. It's not the laws of attraction fault. It's my fault. It's me that needs to frequent better places and get my ass somewhere. So like I said, to me, laws of attraction is magic. And it is magic. It's bare bones magic. That's all it is. It's just bare bones magic. It's magic. It's just bare bones magic, man. It's just magic without incantations. But if you practice magic, you're doing the same thing that you're doing with the laws of attraction. It's the exact same thing. There's no difference. The only difference is you're invoking entities to help you do it. Laws of attraction, you're just doing it. So I like both. I like magic and I like laws of attraction. And I use both. Because they work hand in hand at the end of the day. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop it right there. That was a quick side note, because I feel like I'm getting some interference for some people that feel that I'm mentioning laws of attraction just to piss them off, which is completely absurd. It's complete insanity. When I actually wrote a book about the laws of attractions, that I didn't release yet, because I kind of wanted to make that book about demonology a little bit. I kind of wanted to transfer, because I was at the time where I wrote the book, I believed in God, right? So there was like some notions that it explained the notion of God in there a lot, a couple times. But I kind of wanted to switch it to demonology, instead. I kind of wanted the first half to be laws of attraction, the second half demonology, which is what I did. I just didn't finish it. I don't know if I am gonna finish it. I don't even know if it's worth finishing. I'm not in a position to be able to finish the book. So I don't know. But you're talking to a guy that's 100% like sold on the idea, and you're frustrated. That's weird. You're being toxic, So, anyways, I see you guys later, man. Have a good one. Peace out.